Good evening and welcome to the September 20th, 2017 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. Before we get started, please everyone silence your devices that you may have with you. We'll start with a vote on the minutes of the September 13 meeting. I have a couple really small corrections that I can pass in to you. One is the hearing at the bottom of page 1. It says, Betsy said, I move to continue the hearing until, and the date has to be put in. That kind of thing. And one is the spelling of Paul Shea's last name. Nobody seems to be sure about that, so we may have to look that up. But anyway, those are the
Okay, I move that we accept as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Oh, sorry, Jamie.
Well, I don't know if this is critical, but page 10 about the hearing on 4 Eldridge Drive, it shows that I seconded it. I was recused.
I believe you seconded it.
I did.
Okay, great. Thank
We
you.
sound exactly the same.
You do.
Not.
It usually doesn't matter except if one of you recuses yourself, then that
I tried to butt in.
it's a voice at that end of the table.
So with that
Okay,
in mind,
I'm going to pass
important.
these down. I just, Courtney, would you pass that down to Susan? I did include Jamie's correction in my copy.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so for the first time that I can ever remember, we have no RDAs tonight. We'll move right into the hearings under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. So, tonight, Kim Sears, 23 Fells Road, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for permission to construct a garage addition, a sunroom addition, and deck on sonotubes, reconstruction and relocation of a stone stairway, installation of mitigation shrub plantings, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. David Martin here for the applicant. Bill Armstrong is here also. He prepared the mitigation planting plan and will be installing the plants. There's 2 areas of work on this property, additions to the existing dwelling. One on the Oyster Pond side of the house, the resource area side of the house, a small 13 by 14, approximately 3-season closed porch, timber frame, glass, and screen. Adjacent to that's a small deck to enter through the rear door. Both of these structures are in an area of an existing stone patio that will be removed. The portion does not replace the structure, revert back to lawn. Directly adjacent to that, you'll see there's an existing stone stairway that comes from the lower area of the property up to the yard. That would be reconstructed in stone in a new configuration that avoided the addition. Front left corner of the house, a proposed garage, 14 by 26 feet. Under Falmouth zoning, we cannot place a garage, standalone garage in the front yard of the property. That would be a line drawn across the property at the foremost point of the house. So the garage will be connected to the dwelling with a bridge. In that same area, there is another existing stone stairway that serves the same purpose as the rear stairway, and that stairway would be relocated under the bridge to provide access to the lower level. Mitigation calculations are shown on the site plan. Limit of work, dry wells. One small point, the existing septic system has been upgraded recently, fairly recently. It's a current Title V. The proposed garage doesn't meet the setback. The tank would be moved 10 feet from slab. So that's it briefly. Questions, please?
Thank you. Maureen?
I had no questions.
We're off to a good start. Courtney?
No questions?
Peter?
No questions. No
Kevin? All right.
No questions?
Jamie?
No questions.
Steve?
No questions.
Mark?
questions.
I
Jim?
think that's a first.
Yeah. Well, it's not a first, but it,
I move that we close this hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
all, do we have any comments or questions from the public? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
We're exceeding my, yes.
Really?
Out of here by 7:30.
Well,
It's a
as
short
long as it's
comment.
not on this hearing, which is closed.
Well, I just want to say that this was a nice plan, it was a nice job, it was a nice presentation, and we appreciate all that.
Everything we needed.
And it was well stated.
It wasn't very
And it was well staked,
Right.
and
Yes, and you picked the right night to be
it was a beautiful
so
site.
efficient. Thank you. All right, request to amend the existing order of conditions. Gordon and Janine Thompson, 18 Millfield Street, Woods Hole, Massachusetts. Request to amend the existing order of conditions, DEP 25-4120, to demolish and reconstruct the existing seawall following a construction methodology using rectangular granite blocks to replace the wall. Good evening, Raul.
Good evening. For the record, Raul Lizardi from Homes and McGrath, representing the applicant, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. This project was approved under another order of conditions 2 years ago. Part of the work included repairing the existing seawall. The existing seawall is pretty low in height, approximately 3 foot high. The high water line is about elevation 0.7. The contractor has been, there has been a contractor now in place to do the repair work. When the contractor went to the site, he reviewed the project with the homeowner, and it makes better sense to reconstruct the wall. The wall is approximately 70 feet long, and just repairing some of the sections didn't seem to make the best service to the property. So reconstructing the entire wall is the amendment that we're trying to propose here. Part of the work on the original order of condition has begun, which had to do with removing certain portions of the existing house. The portion that will provide the access to the seawall supposed to be removed has been removed. That opens up the access to the backyard and also to do the work for the mitigation plantings. If there's any questions, I can try to answer them, and the contractor is here also, Chief Schultz.
Thank you, Raul. Mark, start with you. Mark?
No comments.
Okay. Steve?
No questions.
Jamie?
I don't think I have anything.
Betsy?
Nothing, thanks.
Maury?
Just one question, Raul. Where you have the tree that you're going to replant, the existing, not replant, but the existing conifer, what's that other circle next to it? Because it's not in the legend.
There's an existing tree circled.
Yeah.
That's an existing one. Then there's a circle next to it.
Yes.
That's a proposed tree.
Okay, I didn't see where it was in the legend, that's all.
Great.
Perfect, that's it?
Okay. Courtney?
No questions.
Peter?
I have a question. Replacement of the seawall refers to 1-ton rocks.
So, right, not to exceed 1 ton. They're manageable
And-
sections.
How big is a 1-ton rock?
Okay.
Okay,
All set?
almost set.
Okay, thank you. Kevin?
Just as a point, the order is valid until next August. There's no idea that you would need an extension?
This fall.
Also, they have time to ask for an extension if they need to. so.
I move that we close this hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
All right, anything else from the board? Anything from the public? All those in favor of closing the hearing say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? So moved. Okay. Yes,
Good presentation, Raoul.
yes, definitely. Okay, request,
Thank you, in the nick of time, Jeff.
Madam Chairman, I will abstain from the voting on the next one,
recuse, you mean? Or,
the way you want it.
well, they're two different things. If you recuse because of a conflict or possible conflict, yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
All right. Request to extend the existing order of conditions, John Billings, 57 Guiding Point Avenue, Falmouth, Massachusetts. DEP, file DEP 25-4049. Request a one-year extension, expires October 22nd.
Madam Chairman, the staff will recommend a one-year extension on this.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have one recusal, Susan, that's Jamie.
On this one?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
May I ask Jen a question?
Yes.
I'm sorry, everybody, I know you're all anxious to get out, but do I have to put anything in the record for this?
What, the extension?
Well, you have, yeah, it has 87 Gunning Point.
87 or 57?
57.
57. I don't have to write anything, right? Okay. Susan's got
I wrote
it.
it here.
Got it.
We'll put the extension together next week, you'll sign it,
Got it.
send it off.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Enforcement issues, James McInnes, 306 Surf Drive, Falmouth, Massachusetts, for clearing, altering, and filling on wetland resource area as defined in FWR 10.00 and 310 CMR 10.00.
Jamie gets to talk.
Yes, we do. We're counting on it.
So this is 306 Surf. I'm assuming you're Mr. Mix. Okay, have a seat and we'll be right with you. This is 306 Surf Drive. I know had a couple of you go down and look at it. Let's see, how am I going to do this first? So basically, it's one of, for lack of a better term, the little stilt houses out on Surf Drive. Those are some of the pictures. What has happened out there is that the dune and vegetation between 306 Surf Drive and actually the town to, the parcel to the south, which is 314 Surf Drive and owned by the town of Falmouth. There was a dune there originally between the two properties with vegetated dune. It came out to the road. Some more pictures showing that from back in 2014. That has been,
excuse me, go ahead, intro that.
1 second, sir, removed, and the area has been maybe graded or flattened out, and shells have gone from the property at 306 over across onto the town property. Part of that dune and vegetation to that dune was removed on town property. There's a series of Google Earth pictures from May 10. That's the house, that's the town parcel right there, that's the area for you to
Right.
look at.
Right.
Has been removed, the area has been shelled to, Mr. McGinnis, you can correct me when I'm wrong, when the chair calls on you, to make more of a parking area. At this point, there are a couple issues involved. One is the wetland violation through this board, which will
So is this
require
the town
the
property
issuance
over
of an
here?
enforcement order, the reestablishment of the dune,
somewhere
the
like there.
vegetation of the dune, the removal of the shells on at least the town parcel, and two, the trespass and
Maybe it's clear.
alteration of town property that was not done with the approval of the Board of Selectmen. I did send an email to my bosses and to town council, making them aware of this issue, and that is in their hands right now. They are aware that we are having this hearing tonight, and that my recommendation is going to be that we reestablish the vegetated dune between the two properties on the town property, that the shells be removed from at least the town property, and I will be asking the town to install a snow fence, kind of like the sand fencing, between the two properties to delineate that. The town engineering department has gone out there. They have marked the property edge on the road. It's in bright orange paint circle. Betsy, did you go down and look at that the other day? You didn't have a chance?
Yeah, I didn't have a chance.
So if anybody wants to go down and look, and Mr. McGinnis, if you've noticed it on the road, it's a little orange circle. That is where the town has marked that property boundary between your property and the town's. You'd be happy, I can absolutely show you all the pictures I have. You can get them, as I told you on the phone, off of our website. The other set is just basically from Google Earth. And the photos from 2014 are from when there was that dumpster that you must have been doing work on the property, or maybe the prior owner was doing work on the property that happened to be in a coastal dune that our agent took a picture of as he was driving by. So you clearly see the dune there. So at this point, the staff is going to recommend an enforcement order with the reestablishment of the dune vegetation that will require basically a site plan at the expense of the property owner. And sir, basically what this means is that the board may, if they vote it, require you to, what my recommendation is going to be is to have you submit a restoration plan. That restoration plan will require you to hire a surveyor to survey the property, maybe properties at this point, to reestablish a dune to the best of our ability in that area based on the aerial photographs that we have, to revegetate that dune, and probably to install a snow fencing. And the snow fencing is that little beach sand fencing with the skinny wood slats down that property, so it clearly delineates where your property is in the town property, so there's no further encroachment. That said, that's going to be the staff's recommendation. Is there any, oh, here's some more pictures, sorry guys. Questions for the staff?
Do you want to attach a date to that recommendation?
Oh, right there, that as well.
Jen,
Excuse me? ma'am?
do you want to, sometimes you attach a date to recommendations like this?
Oh, yeah, so what are we looking at? So given our schedule, we could probably
This is earlier.
get that enforcement out by the end of next.
Yeah, I was
week.
actually wondering about the submission of the restoration plan.
1, 2, 3. Second week in November.
Comes all the way over to there.
That'll give, by the time we get it out, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I mean, we could do, usually we do 60 days.
Right.
So let's do 60 days. That'll bring us in around like the Thanksgiving Day time. They'll get it in right before they start on the whole vacation schedule. So I don't think that's too bad. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be 8 weeks.
Okay.
you know?
Well, the good thing is that if there's dune restoration, then it's the time of year for planting in the winter anyway.
Absolutely. There was a lot of shrub vegetation on there as well as beach grass, but at least we could get the beach grass established at this point, which would lock that dune in, and then they could replant or do some shrub planting in the springtime. But I do believe the property owner obviously is here.
Right.
So.
Would you like to speak to us?
Certainly.
Okay, please use the podium. We're on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and speaking to the microphone for the benefit of the TV transmission mainly.
Let me just take a look at these pictures. Let me take a look at these pictures first.
Sure.
Can I ask Jen a question? Madam Chair?
Yes, go right ahead.
Jen, did you compare, I know I see the old file there, did you compare the old file with the structure itself? I'm looking at these Google Earths.
Well, the only thing that we have, so the old file does not show that cantilever deck on the site plan that we have for this property, but I mean, looking at our aerials going back to 2005, it looked like that structure was there.
Oh, I know, but 1991
But
was
it's not
Hurricane Bob.
on- The only site plan I was working off of was a 1992 site plan.
Right, that was right after Hurricane Bob, because I remember this project. So I would just reference that, because over time, like I've said before, those little beach houses, and not this gentleman, because I think he just purchased it, but they weren't even allowed to put flower boxes on those structures because they were in the V zone. So I would just, while we're in the middle of this enforcement, we might want to just make sure that there wasn't an enlargement of that structure, which I think there may, by the look of that, may be.
Excuse me, are you saying that the building was enlarged?
The deck.
The deck? That's not true, though. Whatever.
When, sir, if you
Since
don't mind me asking,
1992.
when did you purchase your property?
2012.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it may have been
It
since
was done before.
1992.
Not you, you were looking at the pictures, I said not you as the owner, but back from 91 and 92.
Okay.
See, the
When it
only-
was rebuilt.
The only site plan I have on this property sort of dates back to 92, so it doesn't show the cantilever deck off the side of that house. And any time, like we're saying, it obviously was there when you purchased the property, but any time you do work within the commission's jurisdiction, even if it's doing a cantilever deck like that, you do need to come in and talk to us and file perhaps a permit to do something like that, depending on what the work is.
I believe it was blessed to go ahead and put that deck on the side.
It was what, sir?
It was properly permitted to go ahead and put that deck on the side.
We don't have a record of that. I don't,
We don't have a record of it, sir, but we can go back and look.
All right, that's what I was told anyways. And to answer the question on the dumpster,
yes.
that dumpster was a charity thing that I bid on in Falmouth here for battered women. And Peter Noonan donated the dumpster, and it was a dinner in the dumpster. So there wasn't no construction going on. It was...
Well, it's dinner in the dumpster in a dune, so I don't know what instruction you had. It was the location that Mr. Noonan put the dumpster in a dune.
I guess I have to question on whether it's a dune or not. I mean, I'm looking at this, I see no dune, and I guess what's the definition of a dune? I mean, to me, a dune is a sand dune with seagrass growing on.
Well, you also can have a vegetated dune, sir, and that's what that
But is it over a
was.
foot, or is it half a foot, or is it, I mean, what's...
Sir, I've been, okay, let me just, before you keep talking, I cautioned you on the phone before you keep talking. I've been working here for 12 years. In the summertime, it's a beautiful area to go walking along the water. I've been watching that dune, your house, and the slow removal of the vegetation in that dune over the course of a few years now. So a dune is any hill, mound, or I can get you the definition of that right now. It's on basically windblown sand with vegetation. It doesn't necessarily mean beach grass vegetation. We have very vegetated coastal dunes along the water, especially along Surf Drive, which helps protect the road. I mean, those dunes along Surf Drive are what's actually protecting that roadway. So in our professional definition, that area was a coastal dune, and we'll need you to reestablish that with shrub vegetation, beach grass. May not have the invasives that were there when you removed it. But I have a question for you. What made you extend the shells over onto property that wasn't under your control?
I just thought it would look better. Quite frankly, I put shells down. A car did get stuck on there, and so I put shells down on my property. And then I said, well, why not just, I mean, it's seashells. I didn't think it was violating anything.
Did you know that it was town of Falmouth property, or do you make it a habit of just altering property that's not yours?
I knew it was, but a lot of different cars parked there. As a matter of fact, a guy had a catamaran, not this year, but all of last summer, sitting out front, and if you were walking, then you saw it. And it was
Catamaran I saw down the other end at one point, but not right there.
It was right on that property all summer long.
Okay.
And I questioned the individual, saying, what are you doing leaving your catamaran here? And he told me it was town property, and that he had the right to go ahead and do it, and I didn't call anyone.
You should have called us. We would have taken care of that catamaran real quick.
Well, I didn't, and I wasn't going to go ahead and stir any feathers. So I didn't do anything, and he left it there. So and people park there pretty regularly, use the beach. There's actually a worn path that goes straight through the area there. So, again, I just, I mean, there was some vegetation removed in that section there, and I'll be willing to go ahead and take care of that and get rid of the seashells. But my concern is that there was no dune there, and I know you're telling me that you're the expert.
We have the
but-
definition here.
So, the definition of a dune in our regulations, it's FWR 10.282A. Coastal dune means any natural hill, mound, or ridge of sediment landward of a coastal beach deposited by wind action or storm overwash. Coastal dune also means sediment deposited by artificial means and serving the purpose of storm damage prevention or flood control.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't count the number of times since even 2012 that the ocean has put sand straight across underneath the house and along the street there. I mean, it just does not, to me.
You're on a dune, you're on a barrier beach. That's where your house is there. That's structure that you're between the ocean and salt pond is a barrier beach. And any elevated sand there is by definition a dune. And I know.
I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
And I realize that it may not look as if it serves much of a purpose, but in fact, it dissipates wave energy when storms come in. If the storm is big enough, as we know from most recently Sandy probably, then then all that sand gets washed across and the road gets chopped up. But in a little bit lesser storm, it does offer some protection.
And even that is offering protection against what might be if it weren't there.
I'm not trying to be argumentative, okay? And
No.
I might be coming across this way.
No, I'm not argumentative. I just want to explain to you what.
The whole area is flat, okay? And it hasn't been graded, that I was accused of. It has not been graded.
I said may have been, I don't know.
Well, it hasn't been.
Okay.
I don't know the dune. I guess I'm confused. I mean, I'll plant grass there, I'll do whatever I gotta do. But I mean, as far as the sand dune goes, I question being a sand dune.
Yeah.
That little area, that's considered a coastal dune. Right there. See that big sand mound?
Well, that's not a big sand mound.
Well, it's a ridge mound of wind deposited sand. So all these areas along here, this is all considered dune. Doesn't matter, sometimes the dunes are higher or flatter.
As large as a
It's
mountain.
considered a barrier beach
I don't
and a
recall
dune.
that, but it sounds.
So what we're gonna have you do
Something from something.
is what you'll need to do, sir, is hire,
It was from Oklahoma or something.
basically, I mean, it's gonna be up to you whom you contract with, but it will need to be a professional survey or landscape restoration firm, engineering firm, coastal geology. It's really up to you. I'm not gonna tell you who you can hire. You can go out and get bids, which I would really recommend, because everybody's gonna come in differently. And there are a lot of local guys that know this process really well and help people navigate through this process. Again, we'll have them go out, stake both probably your property and the town's property so that we're aware of where that boundary is. And then have someone help you give us a restoration plan that reestablishes that. And we're not gonna have you put a big pile of sand in front of your house, but you will need to reestablish that dune to the staff and the commission's satisfaction and then replant it. And as Commissioner Harlow Hawk said, it's a really good time of year to plant beach grass, so you won't be just putting sand down and having it wash away. You'll be planting it throughout the winter or contracting someone to plant it throughout the winter. So that is the proper time of year to plant beach grass. And then in the spring, plant more shrub material to kind of hold that down. As far as the town issue, again, that is going to be worked through a different process. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but the town management is aware that we are going through this hearing right now. So we'll probably be contacting with them so that you can work on town property as well. You may have to go through that process as well and appear before the Board of Selectmen, only because you're going to need to do work on town property, and that's the process that follows. When you work on town property, you need permission to do that, and in this case, we're going to require you to work on town property to reestablish that.
So I shouldn't take the shelves out yet?
No, I would wait. I would wait. You're going to get a nice little packet from this board. It's going to detail out what you're going to need to do. We're going to add probably something I need to check with our council on how they want us to navigate the town parcel part of it. And then you will be given a time frame to get that restoration plan to us. As you heard me talking to the board, it's probably going to be around 8 to 10 weeks from when I mail you out the enforcement documents. That gives you time.
And do you have suggested planting?
Sir, I'm really sorry, but you have to speak from the podium.
We can hear you, our studio audience.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Sir, we'll detail that. We will make sure that you know exactly what this board expects, what plantings we want you to put down, and I'm sure whomever you decide to contract or hire to help you navigate this, feel free to tell them to contact me. If it's not a local firm, I suggest you tell them to contact my office. If it's a local firm, they already know.
Okay.
They've been through this with many other poor residents to help them through this.
So I make a motion to,
Just one, do you have my correct mailing address?
I have
You have 15 Northey Farm Road in Situate?
yes, that is where your tax bill goes. That's where we got it from. We got it from the assessors, the tax collector's office.
Okay.
You know what, sir? You don't have to tell me over the camera. I will get your
Okay, but
address.
you can do that, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion to issue an enforcement order as detailed and with a restoration plan by November 30th.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Sir, I'm going to have you put your correct mailing address. I'll
Just
have
one
you
more
write it.
question. When you say, I'll have a restoration plan presented to the board, is that, or?
Submit to us.
Submit to
Submitted to us. So
Jen.
then when
To
will
the
I get-
staff.
All right, and when will I get the information from you people?
We'll probably try to get out to you by the end of next week. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I need all my pictures back.
Next,
I have them, Jen,
Okay, thank you.
in the file here.
all right, we're moving on to voting orders of conditions. First is 169 Metoxet Road.
Be right there, Madam Chairman. Sir, and if you have any other questions, you have my number, so you may call. I can talk you through it. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Good night.
Good night. All right,
I'm working on a form.
I don't seem to have any notes on, this was an amendment.
Just don't listen.
Which one are we
Oh,
on?
to the
169
Metoxet.
Metoxet?
Yeah, did
That
change
was-
the planting.
That's an amended order. I did meet out there. I went through all of the trees. Oh, sorry, Susan.
Right, this has a vista window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jen agreed with everything.
Right.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, you need to, there's 8 of you on this quorum, so you need to appoint 2 of the alternates up to vote,
Okay.
besides the 6 of you.
I will appoint Mark and Kevin.
Okay, 169, I did meet out there with Mike Borselli. Basically, the establishment of the Vista window is going to follow the Vista window regulations within FWR 1018. And I did not have any problem with the trees they were going to take down or the requirement to plant more trees. That lot is very well vegetated and it was just to kind of let that house breathe a bit.
Mhm.
Some of those trees, if you were out there, were right up against that house.
I make a motion to accept as discussed.
Second.
I just had one comment, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Jen,
Yes, ma'am?
I don't think we even discussed this at the hearing, but I don't know, it's all high-intensity mesh, and synthetic mesh in the quarry logs, and I just know when Wilkinson talks to us about it, they're a slow biodegradable. So at some point, if you just talk to Mike and make sure these are the ones that we usually,
Oh, for the core logs? Okay, yeah, that, I mean, and Mark had brought up
I think some of them are-
discussion about the core logs. This is just about the plantings and the amendments.
right, I understand that.
We will check that.
That's why we didn't discuss it, so that's all I'm saying, that we weren't able to discuss it because it wasn't part of that project. But now,
Lori, I believe he
Yes, he
did say,
did.
Mark asked, and I believe he did say that those have a little bit of plastic.
Yeah.
They needed a little high tension
high tensile, whatever.
Tensile.
Strength.
Yeah.
strength plastic
Okay.
to hold them together.
I'll check with it.
Well, I just know that the one on Great Bay didn't, and that's pretty dynamic. So if there is, educate him, he might not
Chip's the
know.
one that installed those. I'm pretty sure it
Okay.
was Chip
Okay.
that installed them, so I can double check with Chip on
Okay.
that one.
All right,
Thank you.
so,
What is that address, Joe?
It was on your.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so
They send
moved.
it where the tax bill goes. You know they have to.
131 Associates Road. Same, we'll have the same group here.
This is the
Yeah.
swimming pool, right?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the swimming pool.
Swimming pool,
There was very little, I think the only discussion we had was about,
runoff on the road.
well, yeah, what to do about the drainage, and I think everybody found that that's satisfactory, so.
I went out to the site, and they did put more silt fence in, but it's totally inadequate. It doesn't, it's just floating in the air, and all the silt is going under it. So they just need to, there's a few of them that I gotta tell Jen about with this rain, it's quite evident. You get away with it in the summer when it's dry, but in the fall when it's wet and the vegetation is dying, you get to see where it all ran all summer while it wasn't working.
Unfortunately, maybe a real mess
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Shouldn't I put some,
I'll have them,
We should have
so
walls.
I'll have them reestablish that hay bale line.
maybe
They will
put-
not be used.
They didn't have a hay bale line.
They should have had a hay bale line on the road.
No,
Okay.
okay.
Because Tom said he was gonna go by and,
Tom did, and he did send, Tom was very responsive.
Yes, he
to
was.
that. He sent me a long email detailing everything out, so some of the.
But
the
RA
issues
Builders
that he
didn't do
saw
it.
will wrap into the order, which was just dealing with the
Yeah.
runoff. He did say there was some runoff on the
Yeah.
road.
And they're
He
actually-
also did say that the swale hadn't been obviously constructed yet or anything else.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of stuff on the other side of the limit of work as well.
Okay.
It's just one of those sites that after, it doesn't take long to break down. And it goes out of everybody's minds once they
But
start
Tom
building.
was really responsive.
Yes, he was.
He did give me an email by the end of that week, so just to let the board know.
And they did go right out and put silt fence up that was inadequate. So they did
Who's the
respond.
contractor on that one?
RA Builders.
but it needs to have hay bales or wattle. I move that we accept as discussed.
Second.
Yes, but I mean,
It's the installation of the pool.
it's
That's
the installation
Yes.
of the pool and the enlargement of the drainage
Yes.
system. It's not all this other
Yeah.
stuff which needs to be done, but is not part of
But we
this
can,
application.
but we can actually wrap it into the amendment because it is site controlled. So I mean, if
That's-
they have
okay.
yeah, that's perfectly acceptable to wrap it into this to reestablish all their erosion and sedimentation controls to the satisfaction of the staff before they begin construction on the pool.
And we
Okay,
did
good.
discuss it at the hearing.
Yeah, that's fine.
We did, but I was,
does anyone remember why this was pulled out of the original application?
A butter concerns?
I remember.
Oh, I remember it was pulled. but-
Boston.
Yes.
I think it was the concerns of the abutter and the
Yes.
installation of the pool and the establishment of the swale. So they pulled the pool out of the original house design to
So they could get started.
address some of abutters' concerns on just, I don't think it was the pool itself, I think it was just the amount of excavation on the site.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
Yeah.
And finally, 4 Nichols Road. This,
It's just the enlargement or
Of
the
the-
extension, not enlargement, the extension of the seawall along the northern part of the property.
correct.
Another town abutting property.
Yes, another town abutting
Yes,
property.
Town abutting property.
Sounds pretty generous.
Mm-hmm.
I move to accept as discussed.
Second.
Who moves that?
Jamie.
Jamie and,
I know, he kind of has a cold. We didn't quite hear it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, unanimous, so
I
moved.
live in those boat horns.
Quote my ear.
Betsy, did you want to say anything, or are we going
Oh,
straight?
Just to remind everybody, meeting tomorrow at 6:30. You too, Sam.
and it's at the library, am I
6:30 in the
correct?
That's
library.
right, yes. And
If there is a time of conflict,
it's,
maybe a little CPC site visit.
so it's not one of our regular meetings, but it does concern a project that's,
We'll get home
we're
in time to
jointly
respond for
sponsoring with
Paul.
the 300.
And I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous, so moved.
This is a record.
No, it's not a record, but it's quite close.